Good morning, everybody. My name is Miria Gray, and I'm the Community Education Officer for Chelsea Groton Bank. Thank you for joining us today for this kind of how to use your cell phone class. If you have a question, please feel free to interrupt me or type it into chat. Before we start, does anybody have anything specific that they were hoping to learn to do with their phone?
I'd like to know how to get rid of a whole string of texts.
Okay, so if you want to delete the text history, that's what.
Or parts of it, but not all of it. Can you?
Okay, sure. Yep. We can look at that. So we'll go ahead and start with that. So we'll compute my actual phone screen right now. Somebody else is just hopping in, so let me add them in. You guys are viewing my actual phone screen right now. Does everybody have an Apple, or do some people have a Android?
I'm an Apple.
Apple.
Okay. All right. It's just sometimes it's easier if everybody has an Apple, because then they know exactly what they're looking at. If you have an Android, obviously it's going to look a little bit different. So as we're looking at our screen, if you're looking at potentially deleting some text messages, you're going to hit the text message button to get into your text messages. So then you would want to open the one that you want to delete some text from. So we'll do Yeti, because it doesn't matter. So I have a variety of text messages from Yeti. And so if I want to delete a specific message, you hold your finger down on the message, and then kind of it'll pop up like this. So you could copy it, you could translate it if you want to see it in a different language. Oops, I'm trying to click my screen. You can hit more, and when you hit more, this is what happens. So you get these check mark boxes on the side. So you could check multiple boxes, and then down here you're just going to hit the trash can and delete them. So if I only wanted to delete the one, I can, it'll check to make sure that's what I want to do, and then I can hit delete, and it will get rid of that specific text and none of the others. So if you're trying
Thank you. That's just what I wanted to know.
Yeah. So if you're trying to save photos or some specific things, but you want to get some of the other stuff out of there because it's clogging up, that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, so that takes us back to here. So our text messages. So does everybody know how to like maybe send somebody a picture in a text message?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to.
All right. So so we'll go ahead and we'll do send something to my husband. So this is my husband up here. So we're in this text message. Now, if I want to attach something to this text message that is not text, I mean, obviously, if I want to text him, I can just say, just text him. So I'll just tell him that he could ignore the next few things that I sent him. So I can send him that. You can tell people you're getting a picture. So if you want to attach an image, You can see down here that there is a bunch of things that you might be able to do. So if you go to this one that looks kind of like a flower, that takes you into your images. So you can you select the image that you want to send. Maybe we want to send them this picture of dinner. And then you can just hit send, and then the image goes in the text. So that is fairly easy. There are other things that you can do from here. You can send somebody money. If you, my husband does not have an Apple, so I cannot send him Apple Cash through Apple Pay. But if somebody else does have an Apple, you can send them money that way. So for example, if you wanted to send a grandchild $10 because they needed to get gas, you could do that. Just be very careful as you're texting money to people that it is not a scam, that it is definitely somebody you know, that it is somebody in your contacts, and you have confirmed all of that information first, because you don't want to be sending money to people that you didn't know. So the other thing that you can do with text is you could send them an audio message. I cannot send an audio message at this time because my phone is hooked up to Zoom, so the speaker and the camera are currently busy. So it's not going to allow me to do that. But if this blue button right here with kind of like what looks like a audio lines, if you click on that, you can send somebody an audio message. So if you had a lot to say, but you wanted to text it, but you didn't want to spend all that time texting it, you could send them an audio message. If you wanted to tell somebody that you love them and you wanted to do it with your voice, you could send them an audio message. So there might be all kinds of reasons that you might want to send an audio message instead of a text message, and they would be able to listen to the audio straight out of their text messages, and then they could reply back to you if necessary. If you scroll to the right, you could add a little GIF to it. So these are just ones that that they are suggesting for me. So I'll add this girl laughing. Oh, you don't have the same options. My iOS is the newest. Our phones have to be kept up to date because I have bank email on my phone, and so it has to be the newest iOS. So mine automatically updates. So whatever that might happen to be, yeah. You can feel free to upgrade. The best part about upgrading is that you kind of skip over some of the stuff. It'll only upload the newest iOS for you. So you might get rid of some of those glitches along the way. Some other things that you could do from here, it links to some of the apps that you may have on your phone. There's not too many times that might be necessary to do something like that. Okay, so that's kind of like text messaging, right? So does everybody know how to add a new contact to their phone?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, so it can be done in a couple of different ways. So say you got a call in from someone, and we'll look at my calls here. Say you got a call in from somebody, and you want to save it. So for example, obviously I'm not saving these because these are all spam, but perhaps I want to save this one here. Then all I am going to do is hit this little I button. Okay, he's already in my it's pulling some information that he is sharing from his phone. So I don't even have to type in his name, his phone number, or where he is, because that information is coming from his phone. So it's pulling that for me. And then I would just hit create a new contact. Okay. And so it does this. So all I have to do is hit done. And then he is in my contacts. So you can add things, you can do all kinds of things with your contacts. So now he's in my contacts, and instead of saying maybe it's Jack Caldwell, it says this is definitely Jack Caldwell. So let me see if there's another one that maybe isn't in here. So the other way that you could do it is to add it directly into your contacts. So you're going into your contacts, and to add a new person, you're just going to click this add button up here. Okay, and so then that'll pop open this new contacts. I'm just going to see. Let's look and see. So let's just add a fake one. Oh, I'm trying to type on my keyboard instead of my phone. So we add their first name, their last name, and then you scroll down a little bit and you can add a phone number. If it's not a mobile number, which this one says right here that it is, we can click that little down button and we can choose what kind of number it is. We could add a custom label if it's not one of these. We'll just say it's their home number, and we can put it in. Okay, so we've put that in. Now say we have two numbers for them. They've given us also their mobile number. We can add that also. Okay, and then we can scroll down. So we can hit done. So while we're in this test area, what are some things that you can do with your contacts? So if you've gotten this new contact, you say you go to a family reunion and you get your Uncle Jack's contact information and you want to share that with your kids or your spouse or whomever, you can click share this contact, and then it will ask you who you want to share it with. So say I wanted to share it with my husband, it will automatically open up Josh's text, and I can say, I'm just going to send you this contact, and away it goes. Okay, so he doesn't have to add that to his phone. He pops it open and he can just save it. He doesn't have to add all of that information there. The other things that you can do, this can happen from any contact because these contacts are already created. So say you have a spouse's number or a child's number in your contacts. If you go to that and you want to add them to emergency contacts, you see this right down here where it says add to emergency contacts, which it has you select, because I have two phone numbers in there, which one I want to add. We'll click, we want their mobile number. It's going to ask you who this is. And so you can say it's your mother, your father, your parent, your brother, your sister, your spouse, your child, whoever. I'm just going to choose other because it is not great. And so then it will pop up your medical ID. So what's really great about your medical ID is that it shows, it is an option for people to open on the home screen of your phone while it is locked. So for example, say I lost my phone, and somebody picked it up. They could hit my emergency contacts button. They could see, yes, all of my information, but they would also be able to see my emergency contacts. So they could call one of those people and let them know that they have my phone. The other thing is, if something happens, if you're in a car accident or you have a medical issue and somebody doesn't know who to call, they can call one of your emergency contacts that they can access without opening up your phone. The other thing is, and as you can see on mine, they have access to, I have my medications in here and any kind of medical conditions that I do have, my date of birth. These are the types of things that if, for example, they are going to put you in an ambulance, they might want to know, especially if you have a latex allergy or if you're on blood thinners, any of those types of things, which you would want your doctor to know about. If you were unable to tell them yourself, it's a good idea to put those in there. And then if you scroll down, you can see I have my emergency contacts in here. And you can see that my Mary test was added at the bottom. And you can see that I have here show when locked. And I also have share during an emergency call. So if I call 911, if I dial 911 on my phone and nothing else happens, my emergency contact list, my name, and all of my information will automatically get sent to 911. The other thing is that if you have an Apple Watch, like I do, the Apple Watches have the ability to call 911 for you if you fall or if something happens. If I were to fall right now and the watch sensed that I fell, like it does a really good job of it. I've seen it happen a couple of times if people slipped or tipped over in a chair, it will ask you if you're okay and would you like it to call 911. If you do not answer, it automatically calls 911 for you and it provides all of this information. It will also call all of your emergency contacts for you and let them know that you have something's happened and you're no longer responsive, which is really a great feature if maybe you have something like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or something like that, and maybe you're falling frequently and you might need help and you might not be able to contact somebody. Okay, so that is something that we can do from our phone. I'm just going to remove her from my emergency contacts because I don't actually want anybody to contact my test person. So you can just remove them just as easy as I added them, just by hitting the remove button. So say you had your neighbor on there and all of a sudden you and your neighbor get into an argument about something and you don't want them on there anymore because you don't think they have your best interest at heart, you can absolutely remove them. The other things that you can do, if I go back into my edit up here, if I want to change something, I just hit edit and I can go back in. For those of us who may keep our phones on silent, which I do frequently because I am at work and I don't just want my phone ringing and binging all the whole time, but I do want somebody that like my spouse or my child to come through if there's an emergency. I can go into this ringtone line here. Right now it's on whatever the noise is. So if you so that's like the standard noise. You could change it to something else. So everybody could have a different ringtone, or somebody special could have a different ringtone. So if you wanted to know every time your husband called, you could have a different ringtone for that person. If you want to know when your doctor calls, you could have a different ringtone for your doctor's office, whatever it might be. You could just choose something different. And then as long as there's a check mark next to it here, that will be what it is. She's not going to call me. But the important thing in here is this section up here where it says emergency bypass. So if I turn that on, that means that no matter if I am on do not disturb, or if I have the volume of my ringer down or off, this person's call will ring through so that I can hear it. It will ignore the fact that my volume is off. It will ignore the fact that I am on do not disturb, and it will put the call through at a regular volume. And then you can click done. And you can see here under ringtone that it says emergency bypass is on. So when my Mary test person gives me a call, she will ring through instead of me not hearing it. It will make a noise. Does anybody have any questions about adding contacts or anything that might be in the contacts area? No. Okay. So we'll get out of contacts. Okay. All right. So are there any other apps on your phone that you would like to learn about? If nobody has anything specific, then I will kind of go on to something different, but I just want to make sure I'm touching on everything that everybody might be wanting.
How about turning on and off your flashlight?
Okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, so this is going to be I'm going to try and put this, oh, no, we didn't want that. Okay, so if I'm holding my phone, if you have the newest iOS or even a reasonably new iOS, you put your finger in the right-hand corner and you drag it down. That gives you all of these kinds of options. And right here, you can see that there is flashlight. And so I would just touch the flashlight button, and that did turn my flashlight on. You can control how bright your flashlight is or how bright your screen is right there. I'm gonna turn my flashlight off. But there's a bunch of things that you can access from this particular screen. Right here, you can see that my share screen or recording is in progress. I also have on my phone the app for my Amazon Alexa, which I could access right here. If you wanted to set a timer, you could click this button right here. That would take you into your timer. So if you wanted to, say you're cooking a steak out on the grill and you want to make sure that you're flipping it after 8 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is, you can set a timer. It will alert you. From here also, oops, I just did that. So now you can't see the bottom of my screen. From here also, you can access your alarm. So if you want to set an alarm on your phone, either to wake up in the morning, mine is set for 6 a.m. so that I can get my son up. But you can have other alarms. Maybe you are doing something and you need to leave the house by 3:15 in the afternoon. So you want to set an alarm to remind you. Yes, you're right. So there is a shortcut if you touch the back of your phone. Mine won't allow me to do that because I have a very thick case on my phone. So so that doesn't happen. But you also have to have that functionality turned on, and we'll go into settings and I'll show you where to turn on some accessibility options for your phone. So I can't do that, but you might be able to triple touch the back of your phone to turn on your camera to turn on your flashlight if the case for your phone isn't too thick and covers that up. So you could set an alarm to leave the house or whatever you want to do. There is world clock on here. So I only have United States, New York, but if you have people that live in California, or if you have people that live overseas, and you want to know what time it is there so that when you call them, it is not the middle of the night, you can add their location to world clock. So you just would hit this plus button. And it would bring up a whole list of things. There's a couple of ways that you can deal with this. You can click in the search button and type in California. Let's see. That is not maybe okay. Ireland is popping up. So if I wanted to say, let's see, Dublin, Ireland, it just automatically adds it to my phone so that I know if I want to call Ireland, it's 1:35 in the afternoon there, and not 8:35 in the morning. So I obviously am not going to want to. Yes. So obviously I am not going to want to call them at 5 o'clock at night when I get out of work because it will be very late. Okay, so we'll get out of there. Let's go into settings and look at some of those accessibility options. So here is your settings. So if I click it open, you can see that there is a lot of, oops, I keep trying to move it. There are a lot of different options that you can do here. We're going to go into this where it says accessibility. So it's this blue button with the white ring with the person. Where Chelsea Groton is calling me. We're going to send it to voicemail. And then we're going to get back into settings. So we're going to go into this accessibility button right here. And we're going to take a look. So there are a whole bunch of things that you could do on here. Say the text on your phone is too small and you just can't ever see it and you would really like for it to be bigger. You can click this display and text size on. You can make all of your text bold. So if you feel like maybe that is better than that, for example, if you like the bold text, it's easier for you to read. You can do that. You can use a larger text. So if you click this, then apps that support it will also do it. And down here, you can kind of slide this little button to how big you might want that text to be. So if you have visibility issues, or if you're often trying to use your phone without your glasses on, this might be a good option. And you can size it up or size it down from there. Let's see. We can increase contrast, which means that it's going to add so that it's going to make things darker or lighter so that they're easier to see against a lighter background. We can invert things so that it is dark. Many of you might see this functionality when you have night mode turned on, and so it's dark at night and white during the day. But if you prefer it to be dark all of the time, you can invert the colors. You can turn a color filter on. So, for example, some people with visibility issues see better with brighter colors or darker on lighter colors. We can choose something. So maybe we want to choose a red or a green filter, or a blue or a yellow filter. We can change the intensity. Let's see. You can make things grayscale if you're colorblind and you don't care if you see things grayscale anyway. It is hilarious because things are changing on my phone that is not translating to the screen. Because if you can see on my phone, the colors are grayscale, but on the screen here, they are not. And so that's an interesting, and you can see here that this pixelated color is colors, but on my phone it is grayscale, so it is not translating the colors as it comes through. But you could change the color. So for example, you guys can see nothing here, but I have changed and put like a red tint on it, a red color tint, and you can change the color and the hue. So like you could make it green, you can make it kind of whatever color you want just by sliding the hue button across, which I find it hilarious that I am seeing that, but you guys aren't seeing that. So we're going to go back, and I'm just going to make sure that that is off. My color filters are off. Okay. But there are also a bunch of other things that you can do. There you can do spoken content. So for example, if you have trouble reading the text on your phone, and no matter how big you make the text on your phone, you have a really hard time reading it, you can select this speak selection. So when you select text on your phone, it will read it for you. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can do, let's see, maybe in my books. So we're reading Anne of Green Gables with the kids. So if I select that, I can speak it.
TTHUEW Cuthbert and the sorrel mare jogged comfortably over the 8 miles to Bright River. It was a pretty road, running along between snug farmsteads, with now and again a bit of balsamy for wood to drive through or a hollow.
Okay, so as you can see, it is kind of like spotty. Like it sounds like a robot is talking to you, but if you have a hard time reading it and you do want it to speak, it can do that. You can choose the language. You can choose the language or the voice that it speaks in. You can choose whether it's slow or fast. You can move this up between the turtle and the rabbit. If you scroll down, there are some hearing things. So if you have hearing devices and you click on that, it is going to try and pair with mine. I do not have hearing aids, but if you do have hearing aids and they are Bluetoothed, my dad loves this feature. He Bluetooths his phone straight into his hearing aids, and they basically serve as like headphones for him. So he'll be listening to a book on tape or whatever, listening to music, and my mom will be talking to him, and he's ignoring her because he can't hear her because he's listening to something else. But you can pair them with your hearing aids, which is really nice if you're trying to take a call. And there's also hearing aid compatibility, which you can turn on and off. This will help with some of the feedback and audio quality that maybe might be an issue when you have a hearing aid. There are subtitles and captioning and things that you can turn on, but I would suggest for anybody that says, oh, you know, I'm having a hard time with this with my phone, I wish my phone did this, to just kind of come into these accessibility options and look through it. So as you can see, as I was turning things off and on, it's easy to turn things off and on. So if you turn it on and you don't like it, then you can just turn it off again. I had my mom also has an Apple Watch. She has a hard time reading what it says, obviously, because the screen is very little. Yeah. So I had turned voice on for her, and it read literally everything to her, and she was going crazy. So we just turned that off. It's hard. Can control your display and your brightness on your screen. So you can do some of that text size and boldness from here also, but you can also decide, oops, do you want to go dark mode? Do you like light mode? You can set when that happens. You can set it to a custom schedule. So say you have a hard time seeing your phone anytime in the afternoon at like 2 o'clock. You can change it to turn on at 2 o'clock instead of like 4 or 5 o'clock. You can do whatever you like. I have on mine down here, you can say raise to wake. So that means when I pick up my phone and off the table like this, it takes it into the wake mode, so that I can either put in my password or it uses facial recognition. If you don't want that to happen, you can turn that off so that when you pick up your phone, it doesn't automatically try and log itself in. You can do that. I have my auto lock go on after 3 minutes. I do have bank email on my phone, so it can't just stay off of auto lock the whole time. But if you want it to be a little bit longer or shorter, you could do 5 minutes, or you could do like 30 seconds. So that would be, if you're not doing anything with your phone for 30 seconds, it automatically locks itself, which you know, might be helpful. It might not be helpful. 5 minutes might be more helpful if you're texting back and forth with somebody and it's taking a little bit of time in between. Okay, let's see. I'm currently not connected to Wi-Fi, but you can connect to Wi-Fi under your settings. So if I'm not connected, just because my phone does not work as good when it is Wi-Fi. So you can have it automatically connect by turning this on or off. I could join the Chelsea Groton customer, but I feel like if I did that right now, that I would probably lose where I'm at. So we're just going to leave that off. If you do not want to use cellular data for something, so if you do not want your phone to operate, you can go under cellular. I have cellular data turned on, so that means that I can use my cellular data for anything. You can turn that off if you don't want that. You can turn, I have roaming on. So this allows more data on 5G. I have my limit IP address tracking on. So that means that, you know, people that I'm hiding my IP address. And then if you kind of scroll down, you can see that what things do I want to use my cellular data. So you can turn them all on and off individually by app. So if you want to listen to podcasts on the road, but you don't want Facebook, for example, you can do that. All right, does anybody have any questions?
Mariah, cellular data.
Yep.
So say I'm driving in my car and I'm using maps.
Yep.
If I have cellular data or data, whatever you want to call it, turned off,
Yeah.
I essentially,
Yeah.
then I essentially kill maps, don't I?
You do. So my suggestion would be, if you don't want to use most things on cellular data, you could, if I toggle this off and just, I don't want to do this right now because I will, but if you toggle it off, it will turn off all of these things, right? I'll turn these all off, but you could go down and say, for example, like I use Waze for my map, then I could just turn that particular one back on so that only that one functions on cellular data.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome. And so hopefully if you have a small data plan, that will help you cut down on some of that. I have unlimited data, so it doesn't really affect me too much. I probably use actually the least amount of data. My kids use the most amount of data.
Big surprise.
Right.
Right.
So that's it. Does anybody have any kind of settings issues that they have trouble with? Okay, so do people know how to make folders?
No.
Okay, yeah, we'll get technical. It's actually really easy. So we're looking here on like the home screen of my phone, right? So Outlook is an email program, and this work is an email program. If you hold your finger down on your work, right, it'll pop up and everything starts jiggling like you're going to delete it. If you pull one on top of the other like that, it drops them into a folder together. And then you can name that folder whatever you want. Oops. And you should spell it right. So I've named it work email. And now both of those work emails are in a folder together that says work email. So if you have lots of games on your phone and they're like taking up a lot of space all over the screen and you want to put them all together in one place, you can do that. If you have like a bunch of social media things, I have like, for example, like a shopping, like right here, I have shopping that has things like Amazon and Target and Walmart in it. I have one for bills to pay, which has both of my banking apps in it, plus my credit cards and things like that, so that as I'm going to make sure that scheduled payments are going through or check my balances on things, that they're all in one space. And if we go back to my home screen, say you want to move something. Say I have something on this page, of course. If I have something on that page that I want to move to another page. So say I have Apple TV here. So I am going to hold it down till everything shakes. Then I'm going to start dragging it across the screen. When I get to the edge, it moves it to my front page and I can drop it right there. Oops, it just dropped it into my work email. If I don't want it in my work email, I can pull it right out. So if you pull it out of work email, I can just drop it onto my home screen. And then I tap again until everything stops jiggling. So now I've moved an app from a different screen further back to my home screen. You just have to be careful when you're doing that. You don't actually accidentally delete anything. If you do want to get rid of apps, you can delete them. So let's see if I have one here that we want to delete. We'll do this one. So I'll just hold my finger down on it until it jiggles. Then I can hit this minus button. Okay, so it's going to ask me a couple of questions. Do I want to delete the app completely? If so, then I just say, yes, I want to delete the app. If I just actually don't want it to appear on my home screen, like I don't use it that much, but I don't want to remove it from my phone completely, I can just remove it from the home screen. Or if I've held my finger down on something and I didn't want to do that, I can just cancel out. So we'll just say delete the app. Then it's going to confirm that that is exactly what you want to do. So you're again going to say delete, and it will go away. Not that you can't ever get it back, because if you go into your store, you can download it again. It will delete all the data that you had in there. So, just be careful about that. We have a couple of minutes left. Does anybody have any questions?
How do you organize your photographs?
Oh, okay, great. All right, so we'll go into my photos. I have a bunch of weird and random things, but you can see here that I have albums, right? So recent is kind of like what it goes into. I have a album that I've labeled from our Cancun trip. And sometimes your phone will make its own albums for different things. But you can create your own albums by hitting the plus button above. Okay. You can create a new album or a new folder or a new shared album. So say you took all of the pictures on a trip and you want to share them with other people, you can do that. But say I just want to create a new album, I'm just going to click that. Okay. So I'm going to name it. I'm going to name it whatever I want. Okay. So then you just hit save. Okay. And then it's going to say, all right, from your pictures here, what photos do you want to add to that album? So we'll just select some random photos to add. So say I've selected 6, you can select as many as you want. You can click add. Okay. And then it adds a test. There's my test album, and it has in it all of the 6 photos that I've added. Oh, you're welcome. So that is a way. One of the really great things about photos now is, say you took a picture of your dog, you don't remember when you took a picture of your dog, now you can't find it. You can click this little icon down at the bottom, which is a search. Okay, so in my little search bar, I'm just going to type dog. Okay, and I'm going to hit search. Now it's going to pull up every picture of a dog that is on my camera. So obviously I take a lot of pictures of my dog because I have 63 photos of dogs in my camera. So I can see them all. I can find the one I like. Apparently it thinks that this is a dog. Obviously it's not perfect. But it does a pretty good job of it. And you can see the majority of the photos are of dogs. So if you're searching for something specific, you could search for anything. So if you've identified, like I have some identified people, right? So it says, oh, these people appear in a lot of your photos. If I wanted every picture I've ever had with Angela, for example, it's going to show me. So Angela and I have known each other for years and years and years. So there's at least 20 photos on my phone of she and I, or just her. And the same goes, it identifies people on your phone that you might have a lot of pictures of. It also, you can search places where you want to be. It also gives you some categories. It thinks that my son's graduation here is art, which is fabulous. But it's got cars, parades, sports, beaches, lakes. Here are some that I have recently searched: dog, food, dinner, shrimp, steak. I was just searching for a picture that I had taken of something. But you can search for any food pictures. And it will pop up everything that it thinks might be food. Again, it's not perfect, but it does a pretty good job. So that is some ways that you can kind of like.
What if something comes into the food department that's, say, a dog, and you've lost that dog photo because you looked in the dog department, but it wasn't there? And how do you find it in the food department?
So most of the photos, it does a pretty good job. It might over identify versus under identify. So if it's of a dog, it might also think it is food. If the dog's eating or it's doing something weird or it's blurry. But it doesn't, it's not like it's forever in that category. It's just your iPhone doing a real quick search of your phone to see what it might be doing. So say if you're looking for the photos of the trip to New Hampshire, because all of your photos are tagged with the location that they were taken, then it would be there. So let's, for example, take a look at my library real quick, and then let me find a real picture that I took versus something that I just saved there or somebody sent me. I do a lot of social media management, so a lot of this is things that people sent me. Okay, so this is a picture of my husband and I on New Year's. Now, if I hold it down and scroll up a little bit, it gives me a lot of information about this photo. When I took it, if I want to name it something, I can, which makes searching later easier. So I can name it New Year's. Okay, so I can name it that. So now when I'm searching for a New Year's photo from 2023, my iPhone's going to identify that immediately. If I want to add a location, I have my location services turned off on my phone only because I don't for most of it. I just don't want people knowing where I am all the time. It's just not healthy. So I could say that it was taken in Basra, which is where I live. Okay, and then it's kind of tagged with that location. So things will be, so I'll be able to search Basra, I'll be able to search New Year's, and it will go ahead and pop up for me. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, that is all we have time for today. We are doing another class that's going to be hosted out of our Niantic branch kind of at the end of the month. So if you're playing with this and you have 1,000 questions, then you can feel free to tune into our other class if you have some more questions after you play with this for the next couple of weeks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It was interesting.
Great. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
Maria.
day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye now.
Bye-bye.